Yo, what's good YouTube? ZAMCRO here, aka Scoot, back with the DPL, and we have Game 8 of, I think, Jerry Evolution versus the Crusaders in playoffs. So this is the semifinals. We have, like I said, Game 8, and this is a 4-3 series right now. So one team in desperate need of a victory, and the other, and that's just to both teams in need of victory. One team wins and they win. The other team wins and they set, the series up for another 3-game series. So I actually don't know off the top of my head who was up last. I want to say it was Jerry Evolution. Took a lead, then the Crusaders evened it up. It's been about back and forth. It's been really very much so back and forth. Anyways, let's hop into this game though. So, they both led off with their Alakazams, which was interesting, and they both opted to stay in on turn 1, where Maran goes for the Signal Beam and Hiker goes for the Shadow Ball. Maran being faster, Hiker fears that it could be potentially just be faster and not a speed tie, so he switches out on the Signal Beam into his Landers, and that brings in, it tanks the Signal Beam, and then forces the Alakazam out into the Mandibuzz as he U-turns out into Infernape, as he sets up a Swords Dance, as the Mandibuzz actually just Toxic, and then hard switches out into the Slowking, and then the all-out pummeling into Flare Blitz at +2 was able to take out the Slowking, which is pretty cool to see. And then Tapu Koko came in, forced out the Infernape. Ferrothorn comes in. Koko reveals the Hidden Power Fire as Ferrothorn gets up rocks, and then it doubles back into the Infernape, not wanting to take a second Hidden Power Fire. As Marion just decides to defog, and that's where we are on this point, or this point in the match. Marion has just defogged rocks away, and now he's going to pull a switch back out, or excuse me, Hiker's going to pull a switch back out into the Ferrothorn, and now it's actually in range to spam Stealth Rocks. Yeah, it's really cool. It had its eye Papa Berry pop. Really nice play there. The back and forth to avoid the Hidden Power Fire, and then bait the Dazzling Gleam so that you could pop the eye Papa Berry, and then be out of range of the following Hidden Power Fire. Just let me double check on that. Yeah, it did 61% last time. I'm not sure on the exact rolls, their calcs or anything like that. Ferrothorn could potentially live here though. Could potentially live the Hidden Power Fire, the incoming Hidden. I do assume this thing is going to click Hidden Power Fire as the Ferrothorn gets up Stealth Rocks. I believe Stealth Rocks is crucial for Alakazam to win for Hiker. If he gets up Stealth Rocks and is able to chip down the Zygarde and keep Mandibuzz relatively low, then Mega Alakazam should have the abilities to finish up this game for Hiker. And this is just turn 11. I'm kind of looking into the deep end game there. So keys to victory for Marin here are, I guess it depends on the Landers they're in, but I think Zygarde's going to be huge and Roserade's going to be huge, despite Hiker having Mega Alakazam and the Infernape. So we'll see what happens here. Both players taking quite a bit of time. It's an ongoing theme in these playoff games so far. Very much, what's the word? Lengthy. Very lengthy. They are very lengthy games, and I can understand why. Players putting a lot more thought into their turns because they're playing for a team. I'm known to make pretty quick plays here, there, especially for myself, unless it's like a really high stakes game versus some like super high level players that I'm just like anxious and eager to play well versus. Then I take a little bit more time. But if you guys remember my DPL I didn't record them live, but I did take quite a bit of time on my DPL games as well. So Infernape, a +2 Z close combat into Flare Blitz was able to knock out the Slow King. That was fantastic to see. Infernape's really, really strong. I think it's one of the better Pokemon that's not like extremely top tier, like Koko, Selly, Mew, and those Pokemon. So Koko's going to reveal the Z move, and it is Twinkle Tackle. As Feral actually doesn't opt to get rocks up and instead just goes straight for the Gyro Ball, getting some nice chip damage on the Koko. However, if this Koko is Roost, then I do expect him to go for the Roost here. However, I don't necessarily expect Koko to not have an electric type move, but I understand if it doesn't. Does just eliminate the Ferrothorn here. Now it'll be interesting to see what Hiker goes into. Probably the Landers or the Alakazam are the two most likely mons to come out here for Hiker. Does to go out to the Alakazam, traces the electric terrain or the electric surge, which sets up the electric terrain across the field, and yeah, naturally outpaces Tapu Koko, but was outpaced by the opposing Alakazam, so this Alakazam may not have as much speed investment, meaning that there is potential for Koko to outpace an Alakazam. However, like I mentioned in my previous video, I think it's important, in my previous DPL video, I think it's important that if you have a Mega Alakazam and you're facing another Mega Alakazam, I think it's important to speed tie. And if you are facing something like Tapu Koko, it's obviously important to creep it. If you can creep it, creep it. That's my opinion in terms of in terms of like 8-mon drafts and tournaments, things like that. I don't believe you ever risk speed ties or underspeeding something that you're naturally faster than. I can't get behind that. So Mandibuzz comes in on the Alakazam Shadow Ball. Takes relatively nothing from the attack there. And yeah, Mandibuzz reveals the payback, and the Alolan Persian takes literally 3%. So the Alolan Persian throws off a Toxic, and the Mandibuzz is going to U-turn out here. What comes in is probably Tapu Koko. Oh, no, excuse me. No, I'm right. Yeah, the Mandibuzz got poisoned there. For a second there, I was confused. I thought maybe the Persian U-turned out. So he actually goes out into the Roserade. So this could potentially be like a Scarf Roserade. If it's Scarf Roserade with the Leaf Storm, and it's like modest or timid max special attack, it might just net a knockout here versus the Persian. Or if he wants to hard switch into something like Alakazam or Landers, I do believe they drop as well. I think even Infernape might drop here. Ooh, goes for the Sludge Bomb. So maybe the Leaf Storm would have knocked out Infernape from 45%, but it was poison, so there's possibility that maybe into poison damage. I'm not real sure on the calcs there, and it did reveal to be a Life Orb Roserade, so it would have did quite a bit of damage. And you got to remember, this is an offensive Infernape. think maybe Hiker just attack what's in front of him. He doesn't lose much if Maran goes hard into Mandabuzz unless he gets the following turn right. So I think the play for Maran is to just go into Mandabuzz and U-turn out. Mandabuzz is looking like a huge issue for Hiker to break, with Infernape being broken. I suppose something like a Alolan Persian could taunt him and prevent it from roosting up and whittle it down with Toxic, and Rotom Wash is there, and it's like a natural check, but we'll see what happens. So Lander's not able to knock out with the Earthquake, and now Roserade able to get health back, and at the same time weaken the Landers, and at the same time now has the option to go into the Mandabuzz. So Hiker's play is to go into Rotom. That's the obvious play, expecting the Mandabuzz to come out. And Maran's obvious play is to go into the Mandabuzz. So let's see what kind of plays these guys want to make, maybe expecting each other to know what their plays are. So if Hiker expects the Mandabuzz to come out, then his play is to go Rotom Wash, right? But if Hiker expects Maran to know that, I was gonna say he might just stay in and click. Well, Hiker couldn't, but Maran, had he known that Hiker knew that his play was going to Mandabuzz, which he probably did know, but like I said, this was no drawback for Maran. He could have stayed in and went for the Giga Drain. That's what I was going to say earlier, was Maran's play there was to actually Giga Drain, expecting the Rotom to come in, and that would have been fire. That would have been fire. Critical hit. This game's so trash. Hopefully he roosted up. Maran's play could be to roost or to U-turn. I think roost might be the better play. Keep Mandabuzz relatively healthy, as it can check the majority of Hiker's squad, in theory. If Rotom Wash takes some chip damage and Alolan Persian takes a little bit more chip damage, I think Zygarde 50% could be in a really strong position to finish the game, especially if it's Dragon Dance. I could understand if this was not a Dragon Dance variant. So Maran actually goes for the Toxic and misses the incoming Landers. Very unfortunate. Again, this Mandabuzz is having extremely shitty luck, being critical hit by the Rotom on the Volt Switch, and then not being able to land its attack here versus the Landorus Therian. So, well, I don't know if Hiker necessarily wants to try to land an attack on this, like a Stone Edge or something. So I suppose he didn't mind to risk it there, able to land the Stone Edge on the Mandabuzz, but in comes the Zygarde and reveals the Coil. So I wonder if this Alolan Persian has the Icy Wind or not. And does this Zygarde have the Yachi or not? Coil can be really nice. However, like I said, this Alolan Persian could have Taunt, Taunt Toxic. I believe it revealed Toxic already, and it could have Icy Wind. He has the roar, so that's not bad either. Alolan Persian is very, very, very bulky with fur coats. Defense is doubled to base 120. Base 120 and a decent HP stat, I believe. So, and a nice defensive typing in dark. Really fantastic Pokemon. Alolan forms are really cool. Man, I really wanted an Alolan Primeape. I would say Signal Beam doesn't knock out from this range. I would have probably banked on Alolan Persian having Icy Wind before I would have thought it would have had a roar, to be honest. I do think the play was to attack it as well. I don't think it was time to go for game just yet with Zygarde. Again, though, I can understand why. Everything else being chipped, and if this Alolan Persian didn't have roar or Icy Wind, it was probably game. So Marin does just go for the Psychic. His Hiker actually swaps out of his Rotom into his Alolan Persian and is able to be immune to the attack, and now has to fear the Signal Beam. I don't think. I'm not going to underestimate Alakazam. Both Alakazams looking very, very strong against each other. Hiker's Alakazam claiming a knockout when it comes in. Marin's claiming one when it comes in. Scarf! Is that Scarf? Scarf? Roar? Toxic? Are you kidding me? Picks up the knockout on the Alakazam, man. Woof. Scarf, roar. Incredible. Incredible. So the Zygarde comes in once again. It's going to be able to coil up at least twice. And then if it has the Z move, it should save it for the Alolan Persian. Alright, so I was disconnected there for a moment, and in my absence, the Alolan Persian switched out versus the Zygarde because it was locked into foul play, and the Zygarde was able to get up another coil as the Rotom Wash come in. So then Zygarde drops 1,000 arrows, popping its Shuka Berry on the Rotom Wash, and allowing the Rotom Wash to survive and get off a Hidden Power Ice, which did roughly, close to 40% or so. And Zygarde was able to 2-hit KO the Rotom. And yeah, looking like it's in a solid position. I believe it revealed leftovers. Yeah, it did reveal leftovers, so there's not going to be a Z move, and yeah, that means that the Alolan Persian is forced to come in. It can't knock out from this range, so its only attack is to clear Roar. It can tank any one hit because this thing is leftovers and not an item boosting or a Z move user. So yeah, Maran's play is definitely to just get damage on this Alolan Persian. I notice Maran doesn't bring Stealth Rocks in this match. Which I guess makes sense since he didn't want to have hazards on his side at all, it seems. Wait. Hiker went for the Toxic. Didn't he reveal Choice Scarf earlier? So he's locked in the Toxic, and now Zygarde claims one. It's either going to 2-hit KO this, or it's going to knock out the Landers or the Alakazam on a sack here. It's the only thing I can think of. Feel bad for Maran because he wanted to start this game at 6 p.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Time, but it didn't get started for a really long time, and then it's already 7. It's 15 after 7, so it's been an hour and 15 minutes since the original time was scheduled to play, and Maran was already tired at that point. So I'm going to consider that in this end game. It really looks like a wrap. Looks like Maran has the victory here. Like I said, Alolan Persian outpaced the Alakazam earlier and was able to knock it out with the foul play at a really low range, revealing that it was probably Choice Scarf. There's no way that Maran didn't Speed Creep Alolan Persian, so I'm assuming this Alolan Persian is Choice Scarf, and I'm assuming that he is locked in Toxic right now, and I'm assuming that Toxic was not the play. But if he wants to sack off his Landorus, Jerry Evolution was up 1-0. One zero, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. Wait, what? So yeah, Zygarde reveals rest. Looking extremely grim for Hiker. So Maran may very well have this victory wrapped up. Yeah, I think Hiker choked, not going for Roar. Especially since Thousand Arrows bounced off. And it's Sleep Talk, so yeah, that should be game. Landers could have the Hidden Power Ice though. And if Alakazam's also packing Hidden Power Ice and Zygarde doesn't wake up, then perhaps Landers into Alakazam could finish off this Zygarde, and then Alakazam could finish up for Hiker. I think you have to stay in with Landers and spam Hidden Power Ice. I don't think it was necessary for Maran to rest up yet. Maybe, I don't know. Tough call. He did get the critical hit there though. But thankfully Maran rests up, so that's not going to come into play. Thankfully. And now both players should have a relatively easy time picking their move here. Sleep Talk for Maran, Hidden Power Ice for Hiker. And it seems like if Hiker can get 3 crits in a row, you know, considering he's already got 1, if he gets 2 more in a row, then he could knock out this Zygarde and win with Alakazam. Alakazam, what do you do at that point? So here's the moment of truth. The Zygarde gets the coil instead. A little bit unfortunate. Oh. Oh. Where was I wrong in my thought process there? Because this thing doesn't get a chance to wake up before the 3rd Hidden Power Ice goes off. Oh, so very unfortunate. Especially because this lander should be gone. If you guys don't remember, I believe, what was it? The Mandibuzz missed a crucial toxic in terms of poisoning this landers, and it would be gone. Really, another unfortunate game though. So have all of these DPL playoff games been. So the Coco actually not able to take 2 Hidden Power Ice. Wonder if the Roserade can take it. I don't think Maran has an out unless Hiker chokes. Really unfortunate though. Had Maran gotten an earlier Sleep Talk row that landed the 1,000 arrows on the landers, he would have potentially won that way. Man, when that 2nd Hidden Power Ice went off and left the Zygarde at 33% and it was still asleep, I was shook. I was so confused on like what had happened. But yeah, that should be game here. Hikertoad should clean up here with the Landorus Therian, Choice Scarf locked into Hidden Power Ice, and that should be game. We're just waiting on the Hidden Power Ice animation to go off. And yeah, it's going to be game, so I believe let's see here. Jake beat Commonly, correct? That's 1-0. But DL beat Ice, so that's 1-1. Hiker beat Maran, that's 2-1 Jerry Evolution. Wombo beat Count, that's 3-1 Jerry Evolution. What am I missing here? This is an 8-8 series, right? Oh well, that's going to be another Haxie game, and that's either a 5-3 win for Jerry Evolution or a 4-4 tie, and they're going to be going into another series. So yeah, it's going to be. Let me know what you guys thought about the prep and plays on both sides of the field. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.